So let's get into building our team. Now we're wrapping up. We're going to get into financial intelligence after this, and we're done. So things to consider when we're building our team. Because if you want to scale, we got to understand this. We can't do it alone. Without Priyanka, without Pam, without Melitza, without my Facebook team, without my YouTube team, I would not be able to do this today. I'd be designing all day. So we have to learn how to scale and leverage people in order to get it to where we want to be. So things that we need to consider when scaling and building our team. What are the things that we don't like doing? What are the things we can't do? Period. And what are the things we shouldn't do? Right? Always keep in mind your HBU. Your HBU, the highest, best use of your time. Highest, best use of your time. I could probably bet you $100,000 that most of you should not be inside of ClickFunnels designing your own funnels. It's not a good use of your time. You should be out there connecting and building with your audience, right? So always remember that. And then the Keller question from Gary Keller, from Keller Williams. This question he asks is, what is the one thing that I need to focus on that will make everything else easier and or unnecessary? It's like the domino. If you can hit that one big domino over and everything else falls down, what is that thing? So that's what we need to ask ourselves. So who are we going to need to hire to scale? These are some key ones. Graphic designer or a funnel expert. Sometimes they come mixed, but you're definitely going to need somebody to do this work for you. You shouldn't be designing your own stuff. You're going to need a copywriter. Unless you love copywriting, I highly recommend you get somebody to write your copy for your landing pages, for your funnels, for your ads, those types of things, or at least consult with them. I have a copywriter for the past 5 years. Russell referred him to me, and I just never let him go. He was that good. A videographer and editor, again, you could find this on Fiverr. You can hire somebody a little bit more expensive. It's up to you, but I would definitely hire somebody to help you with videography. Definitely find somebody to help you with your photography. And then hire somebody that's keen on digital marketing. Those are the top hires, right? And I forgot one, a project manager. We got to add that one in there. I'm sorry, guys. But a project manager to help manage these folks, okay? What to look for in a great team member. These are 3 key things. Skill set, mindset, and the values that they run their life on. When Pam and I go to interview someone and we're about to bring them on the team, we ask them, what do you value most in business and what do you value most in life? And if those values align with ours, they're on board. If they're not on board. Or we'll share our values and we'll ask them, do you align with those? If they say yes, great. The other thing that we're going to need to do is build our processes and systems out. So I'm going to share with you how to do it, but you have to systemize everything. How you onboard a client, how you deliver a project, what the onboard strategy is, how we work, the exit process, everything. Everything needs to be systematized. How do we do that? We, as the CEO, as the personal brand, we need to use a screen recording software like Zoom and go through each process. Yes, it's tedious. This took about 90 days for me and it sucked. But let me tell you something. It was the best time I ever spent because it made my life easier for many, many years after. Many, many years after. So I recorded all of the ways that I did things. And then I gave it to my project manager. And every time she went to hire a new designer, videographer, whatever, She gave them those training videos to watch. And once they gone through those training videos, we gave them a little test. We gave them something to try. And then typically if they followed those directions to the T, we'd get it back in 24 hours. 9 times out of 10, that would happen. Perfect. Okay. So our responsibility as CEO, we got to communicate clearly to our team. We have to communicate clearly. We have to set expectations up front. And we have to be patient. That above all. When one of my team members comes back with something that is unsatisfactory, I don't start bashing them. I don't fire them right away. Now, if it's consistent, then we have to have a conversation. But the one thing I highly recommend you do is find patience and invest in these people, especially if they're good people. So if I get something that's unsatisfactory, I'm going to jump on a Zoom call with them and we're going to get to the bottom of it. And I'm going to give them another shot. And at 9 times out of 10, I will get that project back the second time spot on. But you got to treat your team like family. I was telling Pam this the other day. I haven't had I don't know how to respond to this conversation, so I don't respond at all right now. And I think that may be the best way right now. But when I get a digital marketer or an online entrepreneur or a personal brand that says to me, I'm just going to hire some Filipino for $5 an hour and have them do it, my blood boils. My blood boils. So I don't even respond to that. You have to treat your team like people and like family. If there's one thing that I got from my master's degree that's hanging up behind me in business management is how well you work with and treat your team will determine the success of you and your future. That's very, very important. Okay. So patience. Build your team up. Don't chop them down. Okay. Invest in them. Pay them a little bit more than asking rate. When a designer comes to me and says, oh, we'll do it for this, I'll say, how about this? Right away. What? That never happened to me in my life before. You're paying me more? And then, God forbid, down the road, you need something on a Sunday. Who do you think is going to prop up and say, I'll do it? Your team. Invest in training. So everything all the trainings that I invest in, I give my team access to. I give them access to it. Why? Because I want to see them win. I want to see them grow. And I know my team wants to grow because they wouldn't be on my team if they didn't. So invest in training for them. Get to know them as people. Every Friday, I meet with my team members individually for 30 minutes, and they could ask me anything they want, personal, professional, and I just spend time with them, 30 minutes. You don't know what that does when it comes to building team rapport, right? And then create team building exercises. So we do this thing where I will tell them, all right, we have 2 weeks before we meet again. Priyanka, I want you to go out there and find some really innovative ways that I could position myself better on Instagram. Now, that's not in Priyanka's wheelhouse, but he just feels like he's determined. He's been given a challenge, and he's going to go out there and try to find something. And I'll pay him for it, whether it takes 30 minutes or half an hour, whatever. I'll pay him for it. I don't care. It's part of the team. He's spending time on me. And then on that next call, he'll come back and he'll say, hey, have you ever thought about this? So now my team is my think tank. They're not just designers. They're not just developers. They're my think tank. They're my sounding board. So create those team building exercises. So you can go out there and try to figure all this out on your own, or you can hire this company right here. Great Work Online. I hired Pam 5 years ago. I think 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago. And she has helped me scale my business to that 7-figure mark. I would not be able to do what I do today without that woman. So she has been a paramount in my life and in my business because she manages the team. Now I have very close relationships with all of my team members, but on the day-to-day project management stuff, Pam is in there. She helps me hire. She helps me fire, which we don't have to do often. You could ask her. I think we had to let go of 2 people, 3 people in 5 years. She will walk you through the process and help you with the system creation. She does it all. And I wouldn't have her part of this course if I didn't believe wholeheartedly in her. So a great reference to team building. And if you want to build a virtual assistant team or a virtual team, this is where you go. Okay. Tools I use to scale: Slack. So we have internal team discussion in Slack. Basecamp is how we manage all of our projects. Zoom is how we communicate online and via video. Stripe is one of my merchant services accounts. So I use Stripe, I use PayPal, I use QuickBooks. So I have multiple merchant services accounts because God forbid one ever gets shut down, you got a bunch to back you up. I've seen some of these higher tier influencers doing lots of revenue a week and day getting shut down, and then they don't have a way to make money, and then they're screwed. So make sure you have multiple merch service accounts. And again, I'm going to plug ClickFunnels because it was a huge growth spurt and scalability where I can duplicate a webinar funnel within minutes, change the text, swap out the video, and in 15 minutes, I have a new lead generation tool that I can start generating leads with. So these are the tools that I use to scale.